When Nelson Mandela emerged from his 27 years of imprisonment, the world had changed in a subtle yet significant way. In that time, a mass killer had furtively crept up on an unsuspecting public, moving silently amongst them and catching them unawares. No one knew the killer's name, so they made one up: AIDS. That which had gone without a name was also that which nice people didn't speak about for far too long, so AIDS got a good head start of several years. In South Africa, the apartheid government viewed the disease as essentially a black problem, but eventually implemented some controls. Such was the black population's suspicion of the apartheid government that the measures they introduced were seen as a plot to control reproduction. Anti-apartheid activists dubbed AIDS Afrikaner invention to deprive us of sex. In 1990, the ANC put AIDS on the national agenda as part of its discussions with the government for a new South Africa. Once elected, the multiracial government began preparing for the long term. The National AIDS Committee planned a comprehensive program of education, monitoring, treatment, and support. However, demands of the new post-apartheid changes outstripped budgets, and much of what had been planned fell by the wayside. Under Mandela's successor, Mbeki, further action stalled. He denied a connection between HIV and AIDS, despite overwhelming evidence of the fact. Although drugs were available to prevent pregnant women infecting their babies, he refused them, claiming they were toxic. The Constitutional Court intervened, ruling that the government had to provide the drugs. Even so, still little was done until a change of president and health minister. By that stage, AIDS had galloped off to an impossible lead. Today, well over 5 million South Africans are infected with AIDS. 1,000 people die of AIDS each day, and over 1 million children are AIDS orphans. In 2005, the taboo surrounding AIDS was finally swept away by Nelson Mandela, when he revealed that his only surviving son, Makato, had died of the virus.
Let us give publicity to HIV/AIDS and not hide it, because the only way of making it appear to be a normal illness, just like TB, like cancer, is always to come out and to say somebody has died because of HIV.
Long before his own son's death, Nelson Mandela had actively campaigned for AIDS awareness and funding. His son's death brought the reality of AIDS home to an entire nation.
AIDS represents a tragedy of unprecedented proportions, unfolding, particularly in Africa, but with incidence and effect across the globe. AIDS today in Africa is claiming more lives than the sum total of all wars, famines, and floods, and the ravages of such deadly diseases as malaria.
Retirement from politics and public life did not include retiring from supporting this cause, and he established the Nelson Mandela Foundation and the Nelson Mandela Children's Fund. He also set up 46664, an organisation named after his prisoner number and which continues to raise public awareness around the world with the help of music performers and celebrities.
"46664 was my prison number for over 18 years. I was imprisoned on Robben Island, known as just a number. Millions of people today infected with AIDS are just that, a number. They too are serving a prison sentence for life.
Prisoner 46664's tireless efforts have shone a light on the human suffering caused by the AIDS pandemic, lifting the shadows of loneliness and despair for many. And in time to come, people all around the world may one day be finally freed from this cruel and harsh sentence.